Yo, what up? This is the 116 Life. I'm your host, Ace Harris.
And DJ Mykael V.
We're tuned in on Holy Culture Radio, Sirius Channel 154. So welcome to the 116 Life, man. We about to get into it.
Facts.
Whenever Mykael's in the building, you know, it's gonna be
get a little spicy.
I'm gonna just fall back and let him just go crazy. What's up, man? How you feeling today, man?
I'm good, bro. I'm good. I'm good. God Made a Way came out, so I'm just bang.
Hey,
I'm rocking with
y'all
that.
Y'all should go. Definitely run that up, man.
It's Friday though, man. I mean, it's Friday. It's rainy in Atlanta. I don't know. Fridays are usually like my chill day, bro. I be chilling.
I feel that.
Yeah, like it's the beginning of the weekend. I don't know, but Fridays are always the day before drop day for sneakers. So this is when I'm like peeping, and then the playoffs start tomorrow.
Oh, yo, my Hawks. We playing Boston this time.
Yeah,
Last time we got your Knicks, bro.
Yeah, it's all good though. I to be real with you, I actually think if y'all are on your P's and Q's, you can beat Boston. I don't think Boston's a crazy undefeated.
I mean,
team.
I ain't gonna lie. I don't know how I feel about that. But speaking of things that, you know, to get into, man, I was watching. I didn't watch the full clip, so I feel like we need to give like a full disclaimer.
Yeah, full disclaimer. 100%.
To what we're gonna talk through today, because anytime people get up here with these microphones.
Yeah, they just be speaking and
they haven't even seen the actual clip. It can be taken out of context. So,
yeah, they're just speaking to speak. They're not speaking from actually seeing everything.
For sure. And so what we're basically talking about is, you know, Easter Sunday was recently.
Yeah,
you know, people got their Easter outfits on. Some churches did certain things. Some churches did amazing or big or depending on how you land, questionable production.
I mean, yeah.
So I felt like it would just be dope to kind of just kick back and talk about, and I just kind of call it blunt. So shout out to Mike Todd. I feel like he is an amazing leader, speaker, communicator, and I think sometimes people
overall good dude.
Overall, yeah. I mean,
he's great. I love him.
Oh, you met him? You work with him?
Yeah, homie. Yeah.
Okay, I never met him, but I just see him from afar, and I feel like sometimes people get on these platforms, YouTubers, and just they have like an agenda just to like crucify him for everything. No puns, you know what I'm saying?
For sure.
I mean, what you think? What you think about that?
I think that there's a sect of Christianity / Christian content creation that just seeks out stuff that is like, oh, this isn't Christian. This isn't Christian enough. They're whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because even when Maverick City performed on the Grammys, people were like, you see, they're compromising. Like, and it's like, what do we talk? Like, what do we talk? Like, isn't the goal as Christians to go out and seek the lost and be there and be examples and be like a literal mirror of God? Like, God shows his reflection through us and let us not, I mean, you know what I'm saying?
I think you're right. I think it's just people have wrestles with the how.
For sure.
So they're going to always, and this is not even, I think what happened with Transformation Church and Mike Todd, that's a flash in the pan. I think 100%. It's more about a larger conversation of, you know, when churches, when Christians, specifically churches, when they do productions and they promote them, what are the implications, and are we sometimes doing too much, or are people just not caught up culturally? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I personally think, to me, it'd be too much sometimes. So for example, I'll tell you why.
Okay, well, so break it down. Talk to us, man.
So transformation aside, like let's take them out the conversation.
For sure.
Whenever a church does a major production where they're spending mad bread and all these different things to do a one-day production for something, I feel like, that bread could be allocated differently. And this is Transformation side, because Transformation, they give away a lot of money and they're very charitable. So take them out. But other churches that are big budget and that they do like big Easter plays and stuff like that with like all these different things that I feel like is a little bit unnecessary. I'm like, I feel like that bread can be allocated differently, because I'm pretty sure there's somebody in your congregation that's struggling to pay rent that you could have helped with that money. Or that you don't know about. Like for me, I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that. Because also I'm like, I don't think we need that to explain and show people that he is risen. I feel like a fire sermon and great community. I don't think we have to do a whole Netflix episode on stage in front of people, because we're like, we have to reach the lost. They're coming in heaps, and new people are coming to church.
Gotcha.
So we got to show them. And it's like, I'm pretty sure if you have like a really solid message and you're welcoming and you're serving them, but people that are coming in, I think that'll do just as much, if not more, than doing this crazy production.
I mean, I hear that, and I feel like there's somebody out there who, is hearing you speak, going to your feed, and especially when we're talking about like, the 116 Life in the context of our show, which is like faith, culture, and music.
For sure.
And kind of to like land on the faith and culture side, they could probably hear you say all that and just be like, so hold up, I see you on the entertainment side. You're a Christian. You're a Christian artist or artist who's Christian.
Whatever you want to put it.
I mean, so how could you have like pushback on a church that's engaging faith and culture
100%.
and the entertainment production value to quote unquote reach the lost? Like what do you have to say to somebody that's going to give that pushback?
I think for me, I don't look at church as like a entertainment thing, like, or like something that can like be marketed. I don't know. The way I view church is like the way I view like college or something like that. I'm like, no, I go there. I want to be taught, and I want to go and commune. And I don't think that like to be relevant or to get people in your doors, you gotta like do all these like different like things to get people in. So I'm an artist. Like my job is to get people to listen to my music, like get new fans and like be in the trends and do different things and constantly post and do all these different things. But I think when churches do stuff to be jarring and to be cool, like, and intentionally seek out like that internet validation of like, yo, we got to be with the times, I feel like that attention is in the wrong place. Because especially if like, no shots at nobody when I say this, like I think your theology might be off. If your theology is off and then you're like, yo, we got to focus on like getting Gen Z in here. Yo, let's get Mace to rap on stage on a Sunday.
Not Mace.
And it's like, yo, I get it. Like I'm not like pooping on it. Like I get it.
Right.
But I'm like, I just feel like we can be a little bit more wiser in how we move. Because I think growing up in church, when I didn't grow up in church, but I'm saying, I mean, growing up, going to church, I'm like, I don't think church was ever like a quote unquote cool thing. Like, yo, come to the church, bro. Like, I think people want to make it that. And that's not a bad thing.
Mm-hmm. So are you saying people within the church have this desire to make church feel cool?
Yes, 100%.
And are you saying that's a bad thing?
I think the heart behind it for some people is a bad thing.
Oh, that's a hot take. So, okay, I want you to say a little bit more about that. And so my question for you, because I grew up in the church and being in this building, working on this platform, like when you first was coming to Christ or being around Christians, how did you respond to people who were trying to make church cool?
I rolled my eyes, bro. So I did not grow up in church.
Okay.
So I got saved when I was like 16, 17. And I didn't really start following the Lord till I was like 20. So I didn't grow up in church. I kind of like went to church because my grandmother type thing. But whenever I would go to youth group and they would try to do stuff that's like in the time, it would always feel like corny because it's just like you're trying really hard to like get us to be like, yo, this is cool. This is like, it's not. Like, the way you're presenting it is not cool. But that's why I think that if you just present church as, hey, like if you want to like have a community, if you want to get to know the Lord more intimately, if you want to be around people that are like-minded, slide through. And if you like what we're talking about, stay around. I think to me, this is Mykael. I think to me that works better for me than having like, yo, there's gonna be a Ferris wheel and a petting zoo. And then after that, we're going to have an altar call. It's like...
Not a petting zoo.
I don't care, bro.
Like, so you felt like, because obviously you cut from hip-hop, and that's the culture we sit in. And I feel like, specifically the context that we're not critiquing, but just like processing is like people who are trying to be, like people from the church, within the church, trying to engage the culture of hip-hop, or trying to engage people who basically endear to hip-hop.
Yeah.
And so you feel like moments when you were not in the church, when they tried to do that, you felt it was like an eye roll.
It was often like, I've noticed that whenever churches try really hard to do something and to make it not cool, like really, I'm like, it feels like it's not cool. Whenever you just do stuff naturally, that's when I feel like, oh, like you're not trying to do something. like this is what you are. And this is appealing to me. Like instead of like, I'll give you an example.
Okay.
Pretend I'm the church, like me, and you're just Ace.
Lil
right?
C, Lil C.
Yeah, like Lil C. So it's like,
I about to throw a foul joke right there. I was about to throw a foul one.
Lil C.
Yeah, but we're gonna chill right there.
But, what's it called? But it's like, let me do everything I can to impress Ace, so that Ace can be my friend, or let me just be me. And if Ace likes me, he likes me.
I like that, Mykael.
You know what I'm saying? Like, as opposed to, like, that's what I feel like churches do. They're like, yo, we have to do everything and anything to get people in this building to like us, to be a part of it. Like, we got to stand out from, like, old churchianity or whatever. And it's like, yo, just be you. And whoever likes you, likes you. Like, there's so many churches out there.
But what if what people are doing, churches who have a certain, like, younger bents.
Yeah.
What if that's actually them?
Then churches like that are filling a space. So what I mean, like there's different strokes for different folks.
Sure. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like there's people that like John Piper, there's people that like Matt Chandler, people that like Mike Todd, people that like the dude that has a podcast. What's his name?
Tim Ross, Upset the Ground?
Yeah, Tim Ross, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like
Vody.
Yeah, like I mean, there's people that like different stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they gravitate naturally towards things.
Okay,
so it's like if Gen Z loves like those kind of churches that do the big, like I'm not like in my statement, I'm not saying don't like those churches shouldn't exist. I'm not saying that. I'm saying I think the goal in which we measure success with should be changed. And how we present should be changed, and the heart behind it, in my opinion, should be changed. But I can't judge somebody's heart if I don't know them, because it very well could be, our heart is we actually are trying to bring people in and show people that church isn't what they were used to growing up, and I respect that and I love that. But from initial reaction, I'm just like, man, I feel like you don't need to add anything to Jesus. Like Jesus is fine the way he is. Like you don't got to be like, like. We're going to do this whole play to show you why Jesus is cool. And it's just like, I think Jesus is cool if you just tell him why he's cool.
I mean, it's definitely nuance. And
for sure.
I definitely,
there's no right answer.
There's no right answer.
Yeah.
But I think your analogy you gave is really, so there's a lot there, like about like, if you want to be someone's friend, you just be who you are versus trying to do things to make them your friend.
Exactly.
And that's where people can be met. And I feel like, I don't know, maybe we get more about this, get more into this on the next episode or the next segment. But I feel like there's nuance, and I feel like, specifically like churches, okay, you got faith and culture.
Yep.
Right? And then churches are supposed to kind of, if those are the two brackets, two containers, right?
Yeah.
Church is supposed to be, I guess, mindful of culture, but rooted in the faith.
Yep.
And then you have artists who are Christians who entertain for a living.
Yeah.
And I think they're supposed to be mindful of culture and rooted in the faith.
Yep.
But it's not an either or, but where those two different, I guess, platforms sit is where I think people get a little weird.
Caught up. Yeah,
they get caught up because they're trying to maybe, as a church, operate like an artist, or even on the reverse side, an artist trying to operate like a church.
Yeah.
And I feel like we have to give grace for people to kind of be themselves
100%.
and not try to like be what you ain't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I would love to hear your thoughts on that when we come back. For right now, we're going to take a little bit of a break. This is the 116 Life on Holy Culture Radio, Sirius Channel 154. I'm your host, Ace Harris. This is my man,
DJ Mykael V.
Stay tuned. Welcome back. This is the 116 Life. I'm your host, Ace Harris. This is my man,
DJ Mykael V.
We're on Holy Culture Radio, Sirius Channel 154. And we're pretty much talking about, churches and sitting pretty much in between faith and culture, right? And I feel like we can kind of double down on a few churches that are popular or well-known. And
100%.
We're not here to bash anybody. We're just here to have a conversation. And I feel like as churches are trying to engage faith and culture, even with music, with production, with entertainment, there can be there's sometimes like some tension, sometimes some awkwardness that I feel like comes out.
Yeah.
And we're just here to talk. I mean, we're here to talk about it straight up. And you had 100%. Said, you had a good analogy, man. But I wanted to ask you, like, do you feel like churches who have a more like culture awakening leaning, they have more hip hop presence, do you feel like at times they could be operating as if they're kind of like artists or labels? Like what's the balance, and how do we?
I'm gonna be real. I don't know what the balance is because I'm not like a pastor. So,
right. I think that's also helpful to say. I'm not a pastor either.
I'm not a pastor, so I don't know. I don't know the difficulty of balancing that, but I do know that it is a balance. But I think if churches operate out of like, like we're an entity and we want to be a brand and we want people, it's like, I'm like, but why though? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, serve your local community. Not that they don't. When I say these things, I'm not saying those people don't. But I'm saying, like, why are we worried about, I want to look cool to these people?
For sure.
And it's just like, for what, man? Like, it's just better if the focus is like the community and how we're benefiting them. So what I mean by that is like a lot of these churches, like, for example, I'll give you two examples. Yeah. One is net negative and one is a net positive.
Okay, that's good.
So here's a net positive. And this didn't go viral until it went baby viral. But there's a church, I forget where, and I forgot the name of the church. But basically what this church did is the church, with their church money, purchased the debt of all the people that are attendees in their church. Wow. And they literally had a debt burning ceremony. It's not like a ceremony, like not nothing crazy. But they bought all the people's debt that are like.
How much money that church got?
I don't know, a lot, like low key. But it wasn't like all their debt. It was like all their medical debt. So they purchased all their medical debt.
Okay.
And they were like, you don't owe this no more. The church paid for it. And then everybody came to church and they bought their medical bills and they just kind of burned it in a.
So they actually like lit it on fire.
Yeah, like just as like a symbolic, like we did this. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and then they put that on socials.
Yeah, but it didn't go like crazy viral. It was like, I was like, oh, that's actually a really like, that's dope. Like that's super dope. As opposed to a net negative is like, World Star, Spiritual Word, all these different things posted about us today, and it's like, oh, like. They're actually mad at us because we did something, and it's like.
So you feel like those things are net negative when like culture is posting about.
If the purpose is we want to go into culture and change the culture, and we want to affect the culture positively. If we try to do that, and which is the culture that the people that we're trying to reach. Right. If we're going into where the people we're trying to reach are, and the people we're trying to reach are like. Nah, why would you do that?
That was whack.
Then it's like, all right, like, did we do what we were supposed to do? No, and that's okay. Like, it's a learning curve. I think you just try things and see what hits the wall. You know what I'm saying?
No, for sure. I mean, I think I have a few. I mean, so some don't know, some do know. I feel like every producer has like an artist background.
Facts.
So I was a Christian hip hop artist for a season. Wait. Don't look me up, cuz.
Yo, what? Was it Ace Harris?
It may or may not be listed in my recent post about the RG song "God Made a Way," but don't please. if you want to stay in good graces with me, I would just
not do that. Let me not do that.
But I remember going to, we were like a touring group. We had like a little, we had like an actual like fan base.
Wow,
we sold like 2,000 CDs out the trunk. You know how to get, you know what I'm saying? Hey, who's paying my medical debt? You know what I'm saying? Who's my medical?
I need to go to that church.
But I remember, I mean, obviously you get booked to do like youth events and stuff like that. And I remember going to this church and they were trying to do like a cafe youth night thing, bro.
Like a poetry jam?
It was like it was like hip hop and cafe and lounge, but it was like just wasn't really done really. It was whack, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And I remember there were a couple other churches that I went to where we were like, I mean, on one end you're trying to minister the gospel, share your heart for music, inspire people, and I get that. And then they're positioning it as like we're doing these things that are hip and cool, and the rappers booking like Christian hip hop artists to be relevant to the world. Yeah. And we're positioning what we're doing. We're positioning our faith to infect culture.
Yeah.
But when you get there and when you see the setup, and it's kind of like your 20-year-old self or your 18-year-old self, you're like, bro, this is whack.
Yeah.
And so my takeaway is kind of like, man, how do we? as Christians, and this is not for us to, me and Mykael V, we are not pastors. We actually go to the same church.
Yeah.
I'm not here to position myself to have authority on what churches should and shouldn't do.
Yeah,
I'm just more so coming at the culture angle and seeing like, man, how are we supposed to engage culture as Christians and specifically as churches who are using entertainment as a means
as an avenue,
as an avenue. And I feel like sometimes and the examples that I seen when I was in that group, I'm like, yo, this was, if this was the mark, the mark was missed.
This is the mark. This is where you shot.
And it's like, and so, and then even as artists or people who work in entertainment, I feel like we have a duty too to kind of like be, cutting edge, to be on par with culture, but also be careful not to be wonky with it, because at the end of the day, I get like we're in a social media era, and I want you to speak. You can definitely speak to this.
Yeah.
On my feed, I see a lot of like Christian, even churches specifically, and they're on my feed, kind of like like it's a rollout strategy.
Yeah. I don't know why, bro.
I'm personally trying to figure out how I feel about it.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, I mean, so maybe you could share some of your thoughts, man.
I think for me, I think people are trying to make Christianity cool, and it's never gonna be cool. So what I mean by that is that, like, it says it in the word, like they're gonna hate you like they hate me.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think Christianity will ever be this thing where it's like this global, like, bro, you're Christian? Oh man, like it'll never be like that. And I've come to terms with that, and I'm okay with that.
Right.
I think people's goal is to make it like that, and they want to be like with the world, like, see, look, like accept me, like, yo, like we're more alike than we are different. Like, and they try to use it as a way to get acceptance from the world, and use that acceptance and that like kind of like what's the word, like that, like that sucking up to the world, like, oh hey, like,
we want to make sure we're
like using that as to be like, yo, like we're cool too, but while we're here like telling you we're cool, we're gonna try to give you the gospel, and if you don't like it, it's cool, but it's like, yo, like they're never gonna like us, like, you know what I'm saying, and that's fine. And I understand people want to engage culture, which is what I want to do, which is what Reach does, which is
for sure.
Which you want to engage culture, but in a way that is authentic to the gospel. And not,
come on, Mykael.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yo, get this man a pulpit. We got the platform.
Yo, but
I feel you, though.
I don't think the goal should be, I want to be buddy with the world. Like they're like, they got to know that Christians are cool. Like, bro, Christianity will never ever ever be cool, and that's okay. The thing is we have to like bring people in, not because it's something cool or, yo, you're missing out. Like, it's like, yo, you're like, we're Christian, hey, you're missing out. And it's like, even now, I'm like, yo, like, at the end of the day, it shouldn't be you're missing out. It shouldn't be like, yo, we're cool and look at all this freedom we got. I'm like, yo, like, I think there's a way to present it where it's like, we have freedom because of Christ's sacrifice and the life that he lived. And that is enough to slowly, or however your conversion story is, to slowly or rapidly change the way that you've lived your life. I don't think there needs to be a cool thing added to it. For example, Blac Chyna. Blac Chyna just became Christian. She got baptized. Yeah. She removed all her surgeries. She deactivated her OnlyFans. Woo. She had a Baphomet tattoo, like a Satan tattoo.
Oh, she did?
She got it removed.
I know that.
Like, all that stuff. And it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there wasn't a thing that she's like, oh, this is the cool thing to do, I'm going to do it. That's what I mean. Like, Christianity's not cool. Like, it's literally the complete opposite of the world. Like,
it's countercultural.
It's very countercultural. So it's like, I understand you want to be in the culture and inject like this freedom in Christ into the culture, which I salute and I also try to do. But there has to be a balance of trying to inject into culture, but also still remain a part of the root to the tree. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Good.
Like,
that's good, bro. You out here spitting, bro. Yeah, and I think Blac Chyna, I remember Easter Sunday, since we're talking about Easter and we're talking about productions, I remember seeing, shout out to my A&R Alex, she sent the post of Blac Chyna. Wait, let's call her by her right. Is it Angela White, I believe?
I don't know. I'll look it up.
I got you. I almost want to, like, if she's denounced her name, I want to, like, affirm her what she wants to be called.
Angela White.
Angela White. So shout out Angela White. If you're watching this, hey, come on the show one day. You know what I'm saying? Tap in.
Tap in.
But when you're ready. So I feel like I saw Alex had sent the post to the Lecrae A&R chat, which we share. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, oh, and she had like, for those who don't know context, she was basically doing like a video
vixen
thing of like being like a daughter of God.
Celeb wife.
Yeah.
Thing, yeah.
We're talking about like the video that she posted about on Easter Sunday.
Oh, okay, my bad. Forgive me. I thought you were trying to explain to them who she was.
Oh, okay, no.
Yeah, my bad.
Okay,
my fault.
She was someone who
My fault.
was like, I guess is Vixen she was someone.
I don't know why she got famous or how she got famous.
She's a socialite.
Yeah, 100%.
And she had associations with Kim Kardashian,
Yeah, she
Rob
had Tiger's
Kardashian,
baby.
Tiger's baby, and
Was it? Yeah, Tiger. Yeah, it was Tiger.
I think Rob Kardashian
and him too. Yeah.
And
Dang,
so, and well, hey man, look,
That's crazy.
it's freedom in Christ, man. God forgives, God redeems, God restores, my brother.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. So, and she had an OnlyFans account,
Yeah.
which y'all need to be on OnlyFans. I
Not at all.
I don't even know. Like this is not a humble flex. I don't even know what that looks like.
You don't need to.
And I don't need to. And she deactivated. She basically has been publicly about coming to Christ, getting baptized.
Yep.
Deactivated her OnlyFans account, which you said earlier, which
She was making millions of dollars.
Millions
a month. Like not like over there, a month. Like millions.
Which makes me wonder, who are these customers that are paying?
Hey, some weird dudes, bro.
I guess we're gonna pray for them too, Mykael.
No, facts. We have to for sure.
But that's a sign of a fruit of someone's having a transformation experience to basically deactivate something that's
so normalized
and making you money. And I think about that. And she sent, so anyway, fast forward, she makes a post on Easter Sunday, like a video reel showing her like going to the cross. I mean, she's still a celebrity. She's still a public figure. And so people had issues with her doing that, but she's going to the cross, basically bowing down to the cross. And she, in that reel, she had Lecrae Spread the Ops playing. And I was like, it touched my heart, man, because I was like, I mean, I generally have seen nothing but negative stuff about her in headlines. Yeah. I don't watch reality TV. I'm not really too tapped in, but I did see some of the clips of her finding the Lord, and I was just like, my heart was just so overjoyed, bro, because I was like, yo, here's this black woman. I mean, she's had work done to her body, all these things that culture is like egging you on to do, and she's basically deactivating those things, coming to the Lord and expressing it publicly. And on Easter Sunday, going to the cross and using a song that we made right here in Studio C about Holy Father, like basically a worship lyric on that hook, bro. Yeah. And talking about spreading the ops out, which is like a term that we use in culture that we were deeming that term to like press into the faith and basically praying for God to wage war on the enemy. And seeing that reel and that song and her moment, I was like kind of like brought to tears. Like, man, the gospel is still powerful, bro. Prevalent. Like, and culture or faith aside, man, like there's transformation stuff happening, and we don't always have to project a sense of perceived cool to culture to meet people where they're at. And someone like Angela White is finding that music that we made here, and she's coming to the Lord. Yeah. And we could probably talk more about, the implications of that, but I just want to say, shout out to the gospel, man, because it's really that's what does the work. Not necessarily us packaging this.
It's alive, bro.
It's alive, bro. It's like we don't have to always, dress it up with these cultural Spread the Ops is a song we made authentically out of how we hear hip hop and how we engage scripture and Christ. And that is the product of that. Yep. And so that song is literally going into culture and being a soundtrack to someone's transformation lifestyle. I mean, shout out God, man.
A soundtrack to transformation. That's crazy.
Man, so we can talk. We'll probably pause right here, get into a break. This is the 116 Life. I'm your host, Ace Harris. This is my man,
DJ Mykael V.
On Holy Culture Radio, Sirius Channel 154. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome. This is the 116 Life on Holy Culture Radio, Sirius Channel 154. Ooh, we in there. We in sync today. I'm your host, Ace Harris. This my man,
DJ Mykael V.
And we just like processing. Had a really
great conversation.
Great conversation, man. Yeah. Like you said something over break that I just wanted to draw out a little bit about.
For sure.
Like our Grammys are really seeing what we do musically or whatever.
And how it impacts people.
And how it impacts people and meets them on their walk with the Lord. Like, what is the 116 life? What is faith life culture? What is God always? What are all these things if we're not equipping people to see God in the art that we create?
Yeah.
First and foremost, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know.
I think that's the goal.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's to show people, is to show or bring people to Christ through the creativity, whether it's through excellence, through content, like the content of the art. But I think the main goal is to be faithful.
Right.
I think that God has called you and Reach and me and all these people. I think a lot of people are actually called to do music. And I think that in being called, we have to be faithful in that calling, and being faithful is doing. And I think you guys are doing a lot of great things for the kingdom.
Shout out God.
Which is like obviously the music and this podcast and all these different things. Like those point to Christ and give people an avenue or a bookmark or a place to look and be like, okay, like how does Christ affect these things and these places and these all these different things? And I feel like those things I said earlier about it being our Grammys is like, because that is, it's like the world looks at Grammys, it's like, yo, you've reached your apex. That's the pinnacle. Like you've made it. And it's like Christ is like, yo, the fact that somebody can come up to you and be like, yo, I didn't kill myself because I listened to your music. You know how crazy that is, bro? Like to people, like, but like I'm saying, like, because I even, which is crazy, but even Drake said this. Like Drake is like, when he won his Grammy or something, like, he's like, yo, like this is all cool and all, but the real Grammy is the way you make people feel when they listen to your music. Because it's like, you gotta understand that feelings are strong, bro. Yeah. And if you can show people Christ in a different light that brings not only glory to him, but they see a different side of him. I feel like Christ is like a kaleidoscope. I feel like you can look at Jesus and see so many different things. And it's like maybe they're not seeing Jesus a certain way, and you help unlock a different side or version, like not version, but a different look or a different angle of how Christ is. And it's like, it just makes people fall in love even more. You know what I'm saying? Bro. Like,
that's good. Or see a different like shade,
exactly,
a different hue.
Exactly.
So yeah, I mean, so I hear all that, but I can also see like a critic in the background, and they're probably wondering like practically, like DJ Mykael V, how do you use your platform? If you have critiques about how churches are using or not using their platform to engage culture and faith, how are you? Okay, I hear your critique. Yeah, that's cool and all, but what do you do? You know what I'm saying? Like what?
I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be really real. I don't use social media to bring people to Christ. That's not my thing, nor will it ever be. I use my life to do that.
I'm in the Pharisee section.
Yeah, I use my life to do that.
We have a side eye posture, and we're just gonna stay right here, bro.
Nah, but like here's what I mean. Like I social media is a good tool, but I don't use it for that. I use it for music, promoting like dope content that can push dope conversations. And when people get to know me or get to see me in person, or I'm around people, I really do try my hardest to be an example of Christ and to walk in a Christ-like manner or answer questions or talk in a demeanor that people can associate with Christ or the Holy Spirit. I think for me, to me personally, that means a lot more than me trying to be perceived on social media as Christian. Because what I mean by that is there's a lot of Christian content creators that are like, I'm super Christian, I love the Lord, and I'm using my social media to show you that. Cool, respect, love it, that's you. Me, I'm using my life the same way you're doing it. I'm using my life as that, because there's some people. I'm not taking shots at nobody. This isn't like a
you be shooting out here.
Yeah, though. Like, but it's not like a. I'm not. It's not like a. It's not an indirect. I'm not talking about nobody specific. It's just there's so many people that do it that it's like, oh, I'm Christian on social media, and then behind closed doors, it's like, whatever. Like, do I really believe this? Because there's a lot of people that fall away from the faith that we're big Christian content creators or like whatever. People do that, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm more focused on my actual life being what. I'm focused on my actual life being what you're trying to perceive on social media. Ooh. Two different things. I'm really trying to I'm trying to allow the Holy Spirit to work on me and work through me so I can be someone that can be a catalyst in someone's life, whether helping them walk through something. Maybe it's they're going through grief and I'm able to relate to them and help them walk through grief, or lead them to other people that can relate to them, or to be an actual like beacon of hope for someone and do that even through my music sometimes too.
Yeah.
But I don't use like social media isn't my main thing. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
For me, it's like my life. Like it's like,
yeah,
yo, Mykael's cool on social media, and I could be perceived a certain way because a lot of people perceive me as brash or whatever on social media. But it's like, yo, but when you get to know me, it's like, oh wait,
he's not as brash.
Yeah,
but
like no, you're actually you're a decent guy.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you actually know what you're talking about. Whatever, cool.
Talk to him nice.
That's what I like exactly.
So what you're saying is, you don't really feel like the need to like over present. It's more about it flows out of you naturally.
Yeah, I'm not insecure about my faith.
Okay,
I don't need to like.
You're clear.
Yeah, like I'm very like I know I'm Christian. And people say this and then they get caught up. I don't think I'll ever renounce the faith. I'm not in a position where I've ever questioned my faith. Wow. I know God. I've experienced God in a real way, and I don't think I could ever leave or even disassociate from the faith. No, legit. So It's like I don't need the validation of people on social media or to be viral Christian for me to feel like I'm being a good Christian. God, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's a good I see what you're saying.
Yeah, like
you don't need the validation of the platform position. I feel like for me, man, because of the things I've worked on, people can probably hear. This is again, I'm not trying to rebuke too much of. Not
at all.
Churches
we all miss the mark.
Yeah, we all
slip up. We all stumble. We all think we do things that would have went away and went different. Like it's all trial and error.
Yeah, like I think for me, like how do I navigate like faith and culture, especially when working with different artists and seeing how the church does one thing and me having some reservations about how a church is moving. I feel like I try to like people know. When they come to my page, when they see me, my life, they know what it is.
Yeah.
Even my friends I have friends who just literally just don't agree with the gospel. 100%. And it's like, but at the same time, speaking like to secular, or people who are, I guess, outside of the context of the church, I feel like, there can be like a little bit of hesitation for people to embrace, like for example, what happened with Angela White. I feel like people want people who are new to the faith, who you're processing with, you're working with Jadena, and they want all these things, and they see me being heavy-handed on churches, going over and above on a service, but they're like, yo, I see you working here, so how can you?
Yeah.
And I'm like, we have to give a little nuance, because I personally, when Kanye had his initial conversion publicly, there were people flocking, sprinting. I mean,
to be with him,
bro. They was
to be somewhat associated.
Oh my! What's the Jamaican sprinter? What's his name? Jamaican.
Informa. That guy.
Yeah, no, the guy, the Olympian. I forget his name. But anyway,
Usain Bolt.
Yeah, they were. That's how fast they was running to like platform that. And my hesitation with that is like,
don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
So that's how
It seems very predatory.
That's kind of where I want to kind of land this conversation of like, be careful how we engage culture and faith. Churches being too quick to platform people who are new to the faith, but Christian artists, people like I guess in our space, knowing when to like the difference between collaborating with somebody musically as it being perceived as like a endorsement of everything they're doing, but you're just building relationships. And I feel like what happened with when Kanye had came out publicly, there was just a lot of, oh yes, that's our guy, and I think this is my prayer too for like, Angela White is like I pray that she's having a public transformation, which is good, and it's also like.
It's good for the testimony, but bad for her development.
For the process.
Yeah.
And so we have to just wrap arms around people. And that's why we even say, like, be careful how we do stuff about how we platform the gospel, how we engage as churches, as communities, because it can have implications on people's walk. and that stumble,
really
it can have real.
And I learned that recently. It's just like, yo, like you don't know where somebody's at.
Yeah.
And you like, bro, Paul says this. It's like, yo, like you have to love your neighbor enough to be considerate of them. A lot of people are like, oh, I'm not going to change. I'm me. I expect that. But it's like, yo, the key to this is love. If you love your neighbor, then you will conduct yourself in a way that will be loving towards them and not detrimental to them. So what I mean by that is like how you're saying like, yo, we have to like really be examples. And like if you used to be an ex-alcoholic and you don't drink no more, but I'm like, oh, like the Holy Spirit don't convict me when I drink. I'm chilling. Like I'm not going to drink or even mention that around you because I love you. And even though I don't agree with the way you see that, like, I love you enough to be like, oh, nah. Like,
it's a time and space for everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, look, we in the entertainment space, man, and I be having fun, man. Like, making the music that we make, being in certain rooms that we be in, like, it's just, it's a gift, but it's also just like, I look at everything like a responsibility. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have to be responsible to what God's given me and try to make things that are dope, but just be mindful. Churches, leaders out there, this is not like a warning shot at all. This is a conversation, but just we sometimes, God is enough, man. We don't always have to.
God is enough.
We don't have to, yo, we took it back.
Yo,
sidebar, when that song came out.
Worst Lecrae song ever. Got it. That was his Toby Mac bag.
Guys, I didn't know we were going here. Welcome, DJ Mykael V to the 116 Life.
Welcome to Mykael's first and last.
Okay. Since we're talking about like not best moments of Christians, let's end on this note.
Yeah.
Okay. Hot takes. What other song on that album? There's another song on that album that may or may not have been a part of that. To this day, I wish I hadn't done, but it's all good.
Wait, what songs are on there? Let me check.
Used to do it too.
That's wait, go on YouTube?
Yeah, no, it was called Used to Do It Too. Used to do it too. I used to do. I probably don't remember that one.
Nah, hold up.
But the guy, he said he's in Toby's Mac. You're wild. You're wild.
Rehab. Wow, with KB.
Oh yeah, that was early KB. But yeah, I mean, we just gotta
Come on, bro. No way, bro.
Chill. This is the 116 Life.
I've told Crave, like me and Crave had this conversation many times. I talk.
Okay, that example is a cool segue. It really kind of grounds this whole conversation we've been talking
100%.
about. We need to be authentic and have fun and inviting, but we need to be. We don't want
God is enough. We don't want because even Craig was like, I don't know why I did that. Like it was just a time,
So in our fight to be cool or relevant or whatever, there can be a miss 100%. At times.
How you said the target could be here, you could be all the way over here.
And so you thought you had this like really thought out thing.
Yeah, it just didn't hit,
and it didn't hit. And I don't want. And sometimes look. I have missed. I've probably missed recently, and I will miss again. So it's not like we're immune from missing. It's just like we don't want that to be the impression that people gave with us trying to be something we're not, versus authentically leaning into what we do well, and letting that speak for itself and point to the greater things. So
authentically being you. Yeah, I think when you're authentically you, Christ can work through that. Christ can work through who you are, not how you pretend to be.
Yeah, and God is enough. Not the song, but he is enough. The sentiment.
Facts.
All right. That's it, y'all. This is the 116 Life on Holy Culture Radio, Sirius Channel 154. I'm your host, Ace Harris, my man.
DJ Mykael V.
See y'all next time.